of the stadium acknowledge me. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Kick It to Scoops Season 4, Episode 1. I'm your host, Cooper Gretsch, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors, and results. And what a loaded show for you guys and girls I have. Round 0 is this week. It's not the only time Round 0 is going to get mentioned. Gee, this show was already going to be big, and it just got even bigger because of yesterday. My fellow Stainer, Jimmy Webster, had an incident with Jai Simpson, which got the whole football world in a meltdown, and I'll go through that very shortly. Now, you're wondering why I've been silent on it. There's a reason. It's a thing called a podcast, and it's going to be mentioned right off the top very shortly. But before I get into that and many, many more, I'm going to tell you what is in store for this season of the entire, not just this episode, but the entirety of Kick It to Scoops. Now, we're going to have segments that we've had before. Now, obviously, this round will be a little bit different because the games haven't started, so we can't be reviewing games because no games have happened from the official season. We're going to be reviewing, previewing the rounds that's gone upcoming. We're going to have the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang, which is back. It is never going away. We will also have my season predictions. You're also probably wondering, where the hell has that gone? You haven't done one since January. There's a reason for this episode. So this is why I said, strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. This episode is going to be a big one. Now, there will be a new intro, more than likely over time. Just had way too much on. So that will very likely be in the next episode. If you've got any suggestions for a new intro, music, anything at all, just send me a message. If you've got any suggestions, and we'll try and get something sorted. Okay. So, alrighty. Let's go through what we're going to go through today. So, we've got the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. 3 topics to bang on about. My season predictions. We're going to preview Round 0 and anything else in between. So, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. That is still a thing. Subscribe if you haven't already. Once we hit 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, there will be some prize giveaways. We're just approaching 2,500 subscribers, so thank you all very much. And I know there's a lot of you people that are watching this that aren't subscribed, so please go and do so if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, okay, it's the time for the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Oh, I know you've all been waiting for this. You've all been waiting. You've been waiting. And now it is time. I'm going to be addressing the Jimmy Webster incident with Jai Simpson. Now, look, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, we hope that Jai is well, Jai Simpson that is, and that he's good to go when North's first official game is in round 1. Now, what do I say about this Jimmy Webster incident? I say it's not great, but what I want to stress enough is Sam Powell Pepper did something with more force. And now I'm not saying Jimmy's wasn't intentional or anything. I'm not saying that. Powell Pepper cleaned up Markeen and he got KO'd on the spot. Jai Simpson, yes, he was concussed and he passed the protocols. But I see a bit of a difference between the two. They both tried to clean up the other person, and Webster did the same. Yes, both are bad, but I've seen some so-called experts call for 10, 6 plus weeks, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 weeks. Give me a break. There's some ex-AFL player has-beens that are trying to call for 6 plus. There's some former has-beens that are calling for 10 plus. Like, seriously, get a grip on yourself. Now, in the moment, I was there at that game when it happened. I was on the other side of the 50. He's having about 60 metres out from our goal, from the Roos goal. I was on the other 50, in the pocket. So I didn't have the greatest look until I saw the replay. At the moment, I thought, oh, yeah, 1 to 2 weeks. Now, what I think now it should be on reflection on it is, quite frankly, it should be the same as what Powell Pepper got, and that's 4. Now, you're probably 3 to 4. So if you're going to whinge and go, oh, you've got to be kidding yourself, right off the bat, I knew he'd get suspended for the incident, the bump itself that he did, and that he was concussed. So I knew it was going to be at least 2 weeks on the top. But I just think the talk over this is extremely, extremely ridiculous. Like, I understand the suspension's coming. Webster's apologised. The Saints have apologised. Clarko's thrown a fit, and he apologised for his outburst. He had to go at Howard and Webster at the quarter-time break. What's Dougal Howard to do for Clarko? Clarko should worry about his own team. Now, all I got to say to this is that 4 weeks is what it should be, and that's all it shall be. What I think and what it should be will probably be 2 entire different outcomes. I would cop 3 to 4. I will not cop 6+. And you're probably saying, oh, what about 5? Well, if it's 5, I'll go, I think him and his incident, Webster's and Powell Peppers were very similar, same outcomes, same type of action. So it should be the same. The AFL, they're probably going to try and make an example out of it. Now, what St Kilda shouldn't have done is, I just read their statement before, they'll cop whatever punishment there is and they won't appeal the tribunal's decision. That right there is a dumb statement. You don't say that. You just don't. Because now what you've admitted is, if the AFL give 10, you've just said you're not appealing it. You're just giving the AFL leverage to go, yeah, make an example and let's make us look perfect, because the AFL's not perfect at all. Whether they run it, they're a disgrace. Their rules are changing. Certain teams get favoured in umpiring and in tribunal decisions. Dangerfield gets let off all the time for similar for things he does. Selwood got made a career out of ducking and not getting penalised for free kicks. Like, Bulldogs had a hashtag free kick Bulldogs for a long time. Look, if Jimmy gets 4, I'll go, okay. If he gets 5, I'll go, had too much. If he gets anything 6+, then we're going to have an issue. But I think I know that's what they're going to do, because St Kilda's given them a leverage to say, give him whatever, and whatever it is what we'll accept. And that's a dumb statement, because now you've given the AFL leverage to say 10, and then you ain't going to say shit. That is a dumb statement in that part of the statement, to say we'll accept what they give and won't appeal it. You're just giving them grounds to give him 10. And that is stupid. Stupid. Now, obviously, Jimmy's a tough, aggressive player. Like they say, a lot of players, Powell Pepper's the same. Not condoning the action at all. So do not come to me and say you're defending the action. Jimmy Webster is a good person and a good player. And like St Kilda said, that was out of character for Jimmy. So, look, if it's 4 weeks, it's 4 weeks. Anything over that, and we're going to have an issue. So plain and simple. Plain and simple. That's the last time I speak about this. Now, oh, good golly God. What are we going to talk about now? Port Adelaide's trade period, the men's trade period. The women's trade period, they stole the entire trade period. They brought in Kirsty Lamb, pre-draft selection, Loz Young, who's the number 1 pick, Sinead Goody, Molly Brooksby, Piper Window, Alyssa Brooke, all through the draft and pre-draft and trade period signings periods. Nailed it. The men's, on the other hand, they brought in 4 Sandful-level players in Asava Atikalia, Brandon Thatcher, Jordan Sweet, and Ivan Soldo. Now, people for months, I've been saying this for months, but people have been saying to me, Scoops, they bring a need, mate. They fill a hole. They fill a need when that power people need. Yeah, sure, you need ruck support. But you couldn't do better than that. Yes, you tried for Brody Grundy and it didn't work. But Ivan Soldo, a guy who couldn't get a game at Richmond, and he's injury prone, and isn't that good. Jordan Sweet, who's always has been and always will be a VFL level ruckman. A good one for VFL, but that's all he'll ever be. You might as well use Jeremy Finlayson has done better in the ruck and in the team structure than what Ivan Soldo and John Sweet will provide. Brendan Zerk-Thatcher, Essendon fans for months, not months, years, been saying what a terrible one-on-one defender he is, etc. Horner going to use him in that role. He's just in there smashed, just like he did while he was at Essendon in the AFL team. And Asava Radigalia. You gave up the farm. Geelong were crap. They were delusional, saying how highly they rate Asava, yet they dropped him many upon many of times. They played him up forward. They dropped him forward, ruck, forward, back out. Then he was injured in the last few rounds, 3 rounds or so, whenever we eliminated Geelong in the finals. Remember that, Geelong fans? Still hurts, yeah, doesn't it? You got to bring out the past because you've got nothing in the future. Saints do. Now, radically, again, this guy can't be playing regularly. I know he will, but he shouldn't be. You've got the cannon, Trent McKenzie, Aaliyah, Darcy Byrne-Jones, people like that can play in those positions. Just plain and simple. That's all you need. But we're going to play Radigalia, Aaliyah, and Houston and guys like that in that spot. Miles Bergman's another one. So you don't need a Salva Radigalia that are going to. To the Port Adelaide trade crew, you got to lift your game. Come on. You're better than that. You get the women's people to do the recruiting for you. They've done really well. They stole the entire draft and trade period in the women's side of things. The men's, on the other hand, they were the complete opposite in terrible. Now, round 0 rubbish. A lot of people don't like it. It's just a money thing. That's all the AFL ever care about is the money. They tell you they care about the fans and they're lying. Round 0. Wow. Not a fan of it, no. Love more games. Why is it called round 0? Why can't it be round 1? Why do you have to play these in only certain states? It's a money grab. It's a cash grab. Everyone should be playing everyone in every round. No buys. Get rid of buys. Buys are shit. No, I'm not just saying this for Supercoach. Buys are crap. No one likes buys except for the players. The only way they'll accept no buys is if they get paid more cash. And quite frankly, they don't deserve more cash. Round 0 is a terrible concept. They need to dump it. People had to go at Gill for some of the things he did. Well, Andrew Dillon's starting off on a bad note. I can just see it getting worse. So maybe Gill wasn't the problem. So that is the problem right there. The AFL, leave things. Fix things that need to be fixed and don't change things that don't need to be fixed. It's like, you got I'm just trying to think of a random example here. You got a door, right? The door works. The door closes or the door opens. The handle's on. It's on the door. You don't need to replace it just for the sake of replacing it. That is what I'm getting at. That's not an insult to the AFL. That's just a fact of life. Yeah. Plain and simple. Oh, by the way, acknowledge me. Plain and simple. Hope you guys enjoyed that return of the world famous segment. Scoops goes bang. Alrighty. What are we going to go through now? Okay. Also, if you would like to join my Supercoach group code, I've got only about 50 people in here at the moment. The code for that should be 196027. 196027. I'm going to put that on the screen in just a second. Supercoach group code. So to repeat that one more time, 196027. Right there on the screen it is for you all. So go and check that out and join it. You want to be in it. You got to be in it to win it, they say. So get on board that right now. Alrighty. What are we going to go through next, ladies and gentlemen? What are we going to go through? All right, let's have a look. Alrighty. We're going to go through my season predictions. So that would include, obviously, my final ladder predictions, my Brownlow, my Coleman, and Rising Star tip. That's what it will include. So let's go through the Scoops 2024 season predictions. Now, you probably think I'm going to start with my ladder predictions. Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, everyone. I'm going to go through that right at the very end. So we're going to get to that. So my 2024 ladder predictions will be at the very end of this show this evening. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer just to see my ladder predictions. Now what one I'm going to start with first? Coleman, Rising Star, Brownlow medalist. Alrighty. Let's go with my Rising Star tip. My Rising Star tip for 2024. My prediction is the winner of the 2024 Rising Star medal will be from the North Melbourne Football Club in Colby, McKercher. I don't think Harley Reid is as clear-cut as people think. I mean, he could easily win it, but I don't think he's a guarantee to win it, purely for the fact that I think Simos is going to be rested throughout the year. I mean, that doesn't mean he can't win it, but I just think other midfield players that were drafted could do better. I don't see Nick Watson winning it. I don't see Zane Dersma winning it. So maybe someone like Caleb Windsor as well could be a chance. But my smoky too is from my Saints, Darcy Wilson, the speedster, the winger, the hard runner, played up forward as well. Had 2 good practice matches. I think he honestly could be one to keep an eye out on. So Colby McKercher is my Rising Star tip for 2024. And the smoky, Darcy Wilson from the St Kilda Football Club. Comment down below your Rising Star tip and your smoky for the Rising Star for 2024. It's really, honestly, could go either way. But that's what I've gone. Now, let's go through the next thing we're going to go through. Well, let's see how people take this. Hopefully people, as people would always say, this is my thing, my opinion. So, I'm just... So, my prediction for the Coleman medal for 2024 is none other than the star key forward from the Saints, Max King. Now, you're probably saying, Scoops, you say Max King a lot in this spot. Well, quite frankly, when he is fully fit and has a full season under his belt and stays injury-free, he played like 17 games in the last few seasons. I think it was last year or the year before. He had 43 goals or something in like 14 games. So if he can play every game, he's a good shout for it. He's the best young key forward in the comp with Charlie Curnow. So I don't see why not. Obviously, Charlie Curnow, Jeremy Cameron will always be in that contention. But I'm going Max King for this position. Now, Brownlow medal. Before we go into the ladder predictions, the Brownlow medalist I have for this year. This one, again, is very interesting. But, this is what I've gone with. So, my prediction for the Brownlow medal for season 2024 is none other. Some may say this is a surprise, but it's Tom Green from the Giants. Now, Tom Green from the Giants is my Brownlow medalist here for 2024. Don't have to go predictable. Big fan of Tom Green. A Bull midfielder, was up there in the Scoops medal last year for a reason. Tom Green is a very good player in the midfield. He loves a tackle. He racks up a lot of possessions. Surprisingly to some, his ball use is pretty good. He's a tackling machine, a clearance machine. Racks up over 30 pretty much each and every week with a star-studded midfield already. Now you could say Toby Green will pull votes off him. Canelio, Kelly, Whitfield, Hogan, Himmelberg. But that's what I have. And I think Tom Green will be the 2024 Brownlow medalist. I mean, some other names, they're just the usual suspects you hear about. But, I didn't want to go the same as that everyone else keeps doing. So my Brownlow medalist for 2024, I'll repeat again, is Tom Green. Tom Green. Now, my ladder predictions. Now, this is always heavily debated with people. But again, not everyone gets it all correct. So, in 18th position, I have none other than the West Coast Eagles. Now, you're probably going, oh, well, that's obvious, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. I got the Eagles in 18th place. I feel like, they were pretty bad in both their practice matches. Not that should fully matter, but it does matter more than people think. It's just the form you have, the effort you put in. And I don't think they'll go anywhere this year. I feel like they'll lose by far less than the chunks of games they lost last year. Obviously, they had, I think it was 300-point plus losses, 100-plus point losses, 3 of them. I think there'll be none of them. There might be one. I don't think their margins will be as high, but that's what I have. The Eagles in 18th place. In 17th place, I got the North Melbourne Football Club. Again, very similar. I don't see them doing much damage at all. Again, they may not lose by as much, but they won't overall win as much. I mean, and they're generally two sides that is pretty common for people to have in those bottom 2 spots. Now, this has changed from my early January predictions for this year. But now in 16th place, I've got the Essendon Football Club. I had them probably 15th in January and haven't seen many major improvements in them in their 2 practice matches. They got thumped by us. They were up against Geelong for 3 goals, who aren't going to be that great this year themselves. And then to choke that lead. And then just, the team overall is not that crash shot. They brought in Gresh and Ben Mackay, which is great for them, and Dersma and the Goldie, Todd Goldstein. But bringing in good recruits doesn't automatically mean success for the team overall. Individually, those guys might do well, in particular Gresham and Mackay, but we'll have to see what happens there. I don't see any improvement for them. Look, they could go maybe a bit higher, but I've got them in 16th. Someone's got to go there. In 15th place, I've got the Richmond Football Club. Again, a side on the decline. They performed okay in these practice matches, but then again, it's just practice matches, people say. They're on the decline. No Rewald, no Cochin. Martin's towards the end. Tom Lynch is still injured. Presti's always injured. Jack Graham's now injured. Some of the players they've pulled out in some positions, outside of Shai Bolton, Jaden Short, Nick Loston, they haven't got much else. So, bit of concerns. And Toby Nankervis is injured. And even if he plays, I mean, it hasn't been that great. In patches, he has been okay, but yeah, I don't see any improvement from the Tigers at all. Their key forward depth is absolutely weak. Jacob Gziski's going to play, and he couldn't get a game at Hawthorn, and he was playing in all over the ground in the VFL and AFL. Jacob Gziski, mainly out forward, but been floated around a few times. So in 14th place, I have the Hawks. Wow, their practice match game against the Bulldogs was absolutely embarrassing in that second half. How could they be up and then get spanked like that? Look, if the Hawks make the 8, I won't be totally shocked. If they're going to play it how they did against the Bulldogs in that second half, they're not beating many teams. So I have the Hawks in 14th place. In 13th position, I have the Western Bulldogs. People can always talk about that star-studded midfield all you like, but it's a team that wins you the game, not individuals. That back line is, and I'm going to keep on saying this until they recruit in that position, in the key defender area, their key defenders are absolutely terrible. Terrible. Their best one, in my eyes, who I rate the highest out of all their key defenders, is the one who hasn't played a game yet, who was a top 10 draft pick in the previous year's draft. It was Jed Busslinger. Alex Keith, Ryan Gardner, James O'Donnell, don't rate any of them at all. They all should be playing VFL. Bailey Dale's their next best player, and he's not a key position forward. Caleb Daniels floating a few other positions. And their four line outside Norton and Waitman and Hugo Hagen, maybe. There's not much else. So, yeah, I think they'll be on the decline. And they were around this spot this year anyway. So, got the Bulldogs in 13th. In 12th place, I've got Geelong. Again, they're on the decline. They didn't make finals last year. Dangerfield's getting on. Can't rely on Hawkins as much anymore. Cameron, you got as well, I suppose. But that midfield's getting weaker. They did well in the draft with Manor, who should play early on, if not round one for them. Guthrie's injured, so yeah, I don't see no improvement. Geelong fans, I'm sorry, but that's just what I think. And you didn't make finals last year, and you didn't add anything to excite me to put you in at all. In 11th place, this is where it started to get harder. I put in 11th place with the Gold Coast Suns. Harder again, just like with the Bulldogs of their midfield, one person does not automatically make finals a thing. They were close to Shuey Chu. They may be close with Hardwick. But again, their preseason form hasn't helped me be convinced at all. So I've got the Suns in 11th place. I mean, Will Powell, Ben King, back from injuries. Witsy, Tuke Miller, Noah Anderson, Matt Rao. Some good names there. Ben Ainsworth, Jack Lukosius. I don't get the Sam Flanders hype. I mean, he's done really well in the back half of last year, but geez, calm the farm with some of your predictions about Sam Flanders. See if he can keep it up a whole year and not just the last 6 to 8 weeks of the previous year when the season was dead and buried for them, basically. But yeah, I've got the Suns in 11th place. In 10th place, I've got the Dockers. The Dockers are a hard one to get a read on. Losing all these players to injuries. Hayden Young's going to play through the midfield of Andy Brayshaw and Hallam Sarong, and Sean Darcy's a ruck. Very dangerous there. Their backline's pretty good with Brennan Cox, Luke Ryan, Heath Chapman, Alex Pearce. So I like their backline and midfield mix. Their forward line's a bit scratchy. Walters has passed it now. Lockie Schultz left, the Pies. But yeah, their other two positions are pretty strong in their ruck with Sean Darcy. He's one of the best rucks on the comp, probably outside of the top three. Obviously, you got Marshall and English and Gorn, probably top three. And Darcy and Witsy would probably be the next two. And Grundy. So I have the Dockers in 10th place. In 9th place, I've got the Crows. Probably could even slid them down a little bit, but then again, I haven't been impressed with Freo, Gold Coast, and the Bulldogs and Geelong. So Adelaide slid up to there. They had good practice matches. I don't get this hype about them automatically making the 8. They're well and truly good. I've got them in 9th, which means I think they're closer. But I don't see it. I really don't see it. They're making the 8. I know with Dawson and Keys, Riley O'Brien, Tex Walker, Isaac Rankin, Brody Smith. They said they were going to get a better fixture and they didn't really get one. That was rated highly. It's one of the hardest, apparently. Or mid-range, so that's not easy, as last time I checked. But yeah, I've got the Crows in 9th place. So in 8th place, I've got the Port Adelaide Football Club. Now, the reason I have Port Adelaide 8th is they did go out in straight sets, but that's not why, like some people are saying. Because I just feel like they're a team that could be top 4 and could be comfortably in top 4. They also are a side that could be comfortably out of top 4. Don't know what side's going to come out. It's not Ken Hinkley's fault. It's the players to play, obviously, Butters, Rosie, and that midfield. Bo could push through there. Obviously, Wines is there. Or Francis plays there. Up forward, Finlayton, Dixon, Willie Rioli, that comes to mind. Back line of Aaliyah, Miles Bergman, and Dan Houston, depending on what position Dan Houston plays. I've got the Power in 8th, but look, they can quite easily go up to top 4. It wouldn't shock me if they did. In 7th place, I've got my Saints. Now, we finished 6th last year. I mean, our side is relatively the same, bringing in the draftees. Paddy Dow, I'm excited to see Paddy Dow come into the team, see how he goes. Obviously, he more than likely won't play round 1 along with Dan Butler and Jack Sinclair's in Down, but that's only round 1. So, the addition of Darcy Wilson and Liam Henry and Paddy Dow, I'm happy to see how they go. And obviously guys like Ari Showmaker and Lance Collard in the draft. We'll see if they get some games, and I'm sure they will throughout the year. In the forward line, obviously Max King, welcome back to me, Membry, Mitch Owens, Cooper Sharman, Filippo, Owens. So, in Caminiti's probably going to be back up now if needed. He hasn't been playing in the practice matches, only the last few minutes of yesterday's game. Zane Cordy will come in with Dougal Howard now doing a hamstring round one. Obviously be supported in that backline by Cal Wilkie. Josh Battle will be back after being rested yesterday. And so Jimmy will be on the sidelines for a little bit, hopefully not too long. But yeah, we'll be fine. I don't get the hate. Everyone's over 50% of people. There was a poll on SEN, I think, a couple of weeks ago saying that 50% of people in the poll think we're going to fall out of the 8. Well, to prepare for 50% plus of you to be wrong, because I have us in the 8, I have us in 7th place. In 6th place, I have the Swans in 6th place. They could be another side, a bit like Port. They could fall in the top 4. I want to shop they fall towards the bottom of the top 8. Obviously, Keeney's always an interesting one every year. Parker's there for a little bit. Mills is out for a little bit. Brody Grundy's coming to the team. Terrific. Taylor Adams is injured. But if they're all fit and firing, they're going to make the 8. I'll be pretty confident in that if they can all be fit and firing. Grundy, Adams, Heaney, Parker, Mills, Rampy, Florent, Rowbottom, Papley. There's probably a few of them I'm missing on top of my head. Nick Blakey. So Dane Rampy, as I said. Yes, they'll be fine. I think they'll make the 8. And obviously no Buddy, but they've been about Buddy for parts of the year. Logan McDonald. So yeah, I got them in 6th place. In 5th place, I got the Melbourne Football Club. Straight out and straight, it's like the power. I could have had them 8th. Had an impressive win over Carlton in the practice matches. But it's interesting to see how they'll go. Clayton Oliver's going to play round 1. So he's fine now after the stuff he's had going on. Sailor maybe playing a bit more midfield, apparently. I don't know about that. I'd play him in the half back line. Jack Billings, new club, making his debut this week on JB. Happy for you, mate. Blake Howes will make his debut for Melbourne this week. And so will Caleb Windsor. They're top dropping along with Colton Tholstrup, who's not debuting this week, but an X-Factor player for the Melbourne Football Club to pick up, so they did all right there. And obviously, as I said, Billings, Shane McAdam, I don't know if he'll play. I think he's still injured. He didn't play because of an injury this week. I don't know if I don't think he's available this week. So, and he wasn't in their debutante video, so I'd say he's not playing. So, yeah, it's Melbourne in 4th place. I don't see a spot for Ben Brown. I don't see where Ben Brown's future lies at the Melbourne Football Club, along with Tom McDonald. They're both probably past it, and they're probably not going to be considered heavily anymore. So Matt Jefferson's a key forward they'll look for in the future as well. Probably ahead of those two. Now, in 4th place, I've got Carlton. Look, I'm not real confident with some teams. Like, I don't think necessarily Carlton might make top 4, but I'm putting them in 4th because I don't see anyone else that's not been mentioned already. That has been mentioned already that make it the top 4. Maybe Port. Maybe Sydney, like I said. I just don't know. So I've got Carlton in 4th. I mean, they're going to fall as far as 8th, maybe 9th. But I've got them in 4th place. Obviously, Kerner and Mackay. Silvani's unfortunately after an ACL injury, which Sauce all the best. And also the backline of Wiedering, Newman, Sard. So they got all right. And then obviously their rucks, their major problem. Also got Cripps Walsh in the midfield. Chera, Akers, Blakey Akers. Mark Pitnet and Tom DeConing are their big issues, I feel, in the ruck. They're still pretty weak in that spot. Alex Murkov is another one they've got there. There's a bit of a concern for them, but they'll have to manage it throughout the year and target a tier level ruckman next year. I don't know why they gave Pitnet a 4-year deal, but I have him in 4th place. In 3rd place, I have the GWS Giants. I've been on the Giants bandwagon for a while. Said all through last year when people were doubting them, I kept saying, beware the Giants. They've had one bad game all year. It was against the Pies in like round 3 or 4 last year at the gym and lost by like 60 points. And they hadn't had, and they still haven't, had a bad game since. At least in their losses, they make the other team earn it. And it's only by under 3 goals, 4 goals max. And they're in it to the end. Toby Green, Tom Green, Kieran Briggs had a breakout year last year. Hogan, Himmelberg, Daniels, Bedford, who had a breakout year as well. did better in his 1 year at the Giants than he did his whole career at Melbourne. Himmelberg, I mentioned Hogan, Isaac Cumming. Kane hasn't in as much this year, but he's a great player, and I wish the Saints targeted him. Yeah, I can go to Whitfield, Cornelio, Josh Kelly, Guns everywhere you look. Not just the gun show, they are star gun players in the competition of the Giants. I even considered them in the top 2, and I honestly was that close to doing it. In second place, I got the 2 grand finalists. In second place, the Brisbane Lions. Again, Neil, Dunkley, Danaher, Hipwood, Andrews, Coleman, Zorko. Their team runs deep. Dunkley, Berry, Jared Berry, that is. So Hugh McCluggage, who is underrated as well. So they'll be up there again. They may face Collingwood in the grand final. And in first place, I have the Collingwood Football Club. Obvious reason they just won the grand final, so it's the safest option. They've had a Lockie Shorts, would be great to them. Had a few injuries, so they've had a few SSP signings. Jack Rytel, former Saint. Lockie Sullivan from the Bulldogs VFL, the former captain of the Footscray VFL team, sorry. He's been really good. And Josh Eyre, who's had 2 chances at Essendon and then was going to be selected by the Saints last year and done a hammy or something badly late. So that's what he picked up. And he did a hamstring late for the Pies. Believe me, it's about 6 to 8 weeks, I think they said. They still picked him up. So, yeah, that's my ladder predictions. Let me get it on the screen for you all right now. Alrighty. Okay. There is the 2024 Scoops ladder predictions. In 18th place, the Eagles. 17th, the Roos. 16th, Essendon. 15, Richmond. 14, Hawthorn. 13, the Bulldogs. 12, Geelong. 11, Gold Coast. 10, Fremantle. 9, Adelaide. 8, Port Adelaide. 7, St Kilda. 6, Sydney. 5, Melbourne. 4, Carlton. 3, GWS. 2, Brisbane. And first place, the Collingwood Football Club. So that is my ladder predictions for this season. Now let's go preview round 0. Comment down below to your thoughts on my ladder predictions. So round 0 starts on Thursday night at the SCG. We have the Swans hosting the Melbourne Football Club Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Victorian time. I'm tipping the Swans to start with a bang and beat the Demons by 15 points on Thursday night. Friday night at the Gabba at 7:40 Victorian time. It's the Brisbane Lions hosting Carlton. I'm going to go to the Brisbane Lions by 5 points in a close one here. On Saturday twilight at Heritage Bank Stadium, formerly known as Metricon Stadium, up on the Gold Coast. It's Gold Coast hosting the Richmond Football Club. I'm going Gold Coast by 25 points. And finally, for round 0, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Victorian time, up in Sydney at Giants Stadium. It's the Giants hosting Collingwood. Oh, this is going to be a ripper dipper. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a toughie. This game could go either way at Giants Stadium. So I'm going to be tipping the Giants to upset the Pies in round 1 to upset, not really an upset, but an upset to a degree more on predictions. And people want to be safe before tipping Collingwood. But in Sydney, Giants want to start with a bang. Their shit talk's been going with Dave Matthews, their CEO, the Pies, and Sydney all in a bit of fighting with each other online on the social side of things. We're going the Giants by 1 point. And Toby Green kicked the winning goal or winning point or winning score. That is my prediction there. Now, also, I'm going to remind you all the Supercoach group code. If you want to join it, get in before Thursday night. Supercoach group code 196027. I'll repeat that one more time for people listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. 196027 Supercoach group code. AFL Supercoach group code. You want to join it? Get in now before Thursday, before you potentially get locked out. You may not get locked out, but just get in it. So I'm working through if there's going to be some prizes at the end of the year for this. So get in, make your team, do it properly, be serious. Don't pick a bunch of players on the one team. Do it properly, and work out around the buys and everything like that. Alrighty. So my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. Now, also, I have plenty more interviews lined up. So if you know any AFL, any AFLW players, or any up-and-coming draftees, and you'd love to see them on the podcast in a Goal King Challenge or an interview, I had plenty throughout the last 4 months. So you haven't been without any content at all. It was draft and trade news, videos, daily videos, interviews with AFLW draftees, AFLW players, AFL players, AFL draftees. There's been a lot. I've done a lot of Goal King challenges in the last few days. In fact, I've just recently posted this tonight with North Melbourne VFLW star recruit Yazzie Welshford. Go and check it out. It's on the channel right now. I might pin it down in the comment section down below. Also, Kiara Woods, Geelong Falcons, AFLW draftee, draft prospect, and Kiara Henry from the Saints, AFLW side. Go and check that out as well. Among the plenty of interviews, I did the Scoops biggest goal kicking challenge ever in WA. I went to the WWE a few weeks ago, with 16 players and myself. That was a freaking fantastic video. So I really, really recommend you go and watch that. The video you do not want to miss. Go check out my WWE vlogs when I was there at the press conference, the meet and greet at the WWE Elimination Chamber event. Go see where I sat, see all the entrances. You see every WWE wrestler that was there in the clip. See the meet and greet video I did. I love that video. Meet and greet from Waller, Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, and Austin Theory. A-Town down. The future's right now. But yeah, if you know any AFLW players, AFL players, or up-and-coming draftees in the men's or women's side of things, you would love to see them on the podcast and the Golden Calendar and interview, would really appreciate you can help reach out to me. AFL Info Live on Instagram. Let me get that banner up so you can see my Instagram. Go follow it if you haven't already too. Would greatly appreciate it. Here it is. So follow my Instagram at AFL Info Live. Got around 3,000 or so or more followers on there. And subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. Smash the like button, 1A for 20 likes for this video. Return episode of Kick It to Scoops for Season 4. And also, I've been searching for a while. If you would love to be a part of this show and be like a co-host or a special guest from time to time, please send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. If you know someone that you think would love to be on, send me a message on Instagram, preferably AFL Info Live, and we'll have a chat about it. Thank you all. Until next week, everyone, have a great one. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints and, of course, acknowledge me, the one. Yeet.